Welcome, Toots! On this channel, we will be reading a 1920s newspaper. In the 1920s, people used slang words to describe their car, such as the flivver, which was a Ford. They may have called it the machine, or the crate, or the bucket. A boiler, a heap, and a jalopy. And the rumble seat in the back was called a struggle buddy. And for some reason, people sure like to take photographs of them on top of their automobiles. Here's Clara Bow sitting on hers. Well, it wasn't just the 20s. Here's a lady in the 30s on her automobile. And here's a lady having fun in the 40s. She's quite a traffic stopper. And in the 1950s. The 1960s, the 1970s. I guess everyone wanted to be a hood ornament. Speaking of hood ornaments, if you stay tuned to the end of this video, I have a quick photo montage of some 1920s and 30s hood ornaments. But now it's time to read a newspaper together. We will be reading the Seattle Post-Intelligencer from Seattle, Washington, dated Sunday, May 15th, 1927. Auto bandits rob Seattle man. Odor thugs stage holdup on highway. R. Barnell from Seattle said he was traveling alone to Arlington. He noticed a car with two men occupants pass him at Carvarolo's corner, traveling north. He passed this car at the Sunnyside store and then turned onto Arlington Cutoff. The Seattle man related that his attention was again drawn to the machine when it passed him on the cutoff. A short distance on the cutoff on a straightaway, I found the car off the road, Burnell declared. The two men flagged me, and I got out to offer what I presumed was aid to stranded motorists. As I advanced a couple of steps, one of the men flashed a gun and commanded me to put up my hands. According to Sheriff Stever, Burnell ignored the command and gave battle to the highwaymen, knocking one to the pavement before being felled by a blow from his companion. When Barrel regained consciousness, he found his assailants had disappeared and that his pockets had been carefully searched and his money taken. Food for flyers. Mrs. Lloyd Bertaud and Mrs. Clarence Chamberlain preparing the food which their husbands will carry with them while attempting to span the Atlantic Ocean in the Wright Bellanca Plain, Columbia. The flyers will need good home-cooked, substantial food, and their wives will see that they get it. Garden tools greatly reduced. Better lawnmower, $9.85. This better lawnmower is just the one to give your lawn that velvet smoothness. 4 14-inch blades of best knife steel, oil-tempered and water-ground. 8-inch wheels, exceptionally low price. Ho hum, no rest for him, too many trains. San Francisco, May 13th. Friday the 13th was John Ganchi's 17th birthday. Ganchi walked the tracks of the Southern Pacific, and near number 4 tunnel in the Bay Shore district, he lay down beside a sidetrack. Shortly afterwards, a switch engine came along, and before the engineer saw Ganchi, the cowcatcher had knocked his hat off. Ganchi got up, picked up his hat, and walked across to a main line track. He selected what looked like a comfortable spot and lay down again, this time between the rails of a main line track. It seemed that there was really no rest for the weary. He had just dropped off to sleep when train number 146 came along, and the locomotive and 2 cars passed over Ganchi's sleeping form and never touched him. Ganchi was violently angry, and when the Del Monte Limited came along, it just seemed as though the Southern Pacific locomotives had a grudge against him and were chasing him all over the place. Engineer G.L. Eisling blew his whistle. He rang the bell. He shouted. Ganchi wasn't going to be disturbed again, and he didn't move. At last, the big train ground to a stop, and the engineer and his firemen alighted from the cab. They asked Ganchi what the this and that he meant by choosing 2 Southern Pacific tracks on which to take his nap. This was too much. Ganchi jumped up. He told the train crew what he thought of them and then started to run. The train crew gave chase, and finally they cornered Ganchi and caught him. They put him aboard the train, but it was necessary to put handcuffs on him. He was taken to the Central Emergency Hospital, where he was treated for violent hysteria. Then his parents were notified, and they finally took him home. Friday the 13th will have no terrors for John Ganchi after his experience yesterday. Yakima, May 14th. 2 young girls picked up by the Yakima police last night gave their names as Olga and Fern Bow. They said they were Portland schoolgirls, aged 12 and 14. They were kidnapped Thursday while going to school, they said, and were locked in a cabin near Arlington, Oregon. They related that they escaped while the captors were drunk. Tatiana's Palace arrives intact. Providence, Rhode Island. Tatiana's Palace, the $500,000 display of Sir Melville Wilkinson, lost in transit between Washington and this city and sought by police of 3 states, arrived intact this afternoon. The motor truck driver told police he was lost during the night on the back roads of Connecticut, following a breakdown at Newark, New Jersey yesterday. Big distillery seized in raid, Aberdeen, May 14th. Federal officers last night broke up one of the largest booze operations discovered in the Harbor District this year when they raided a moonshine distillery in the Wishkah Valley, 10 miles north of Aberdeen. A huge still, 1,200 gallons of mash and 65 gallons of finished moonshine whiskey were seized by the prohibition agents. A stranger, and the moonshiners hate strangers. I ain't no moonshiner. I'm an umbrella mender from Walla Walla.
We'll surround the hound and shoot him down like a dog.
He has a striking personality. For firm flesh pep, stay there, strength and super energy. Take radium in tablets, nature's source of vital force. Easy and economical, results quick and wonderful. Thin, weak, nervous, rundown folks will find this simple test well worth trying. First, weigh and measure yourself. See how long you can work or how far you can walk without becoming tired. Next, take Arium, 2 tablets with each meal 3 times per day. There's nothing like Arium with real radium in the tablets to put color in your cheeks. Sea of slogans. Aristotle never had a worse headache than the 3 judges, Harold Crary, R.P. Pearson, and Curtis A. Keene, who, from 3,558 suggested slogans, selected Mrs. C.R. Pearson's line of Seattle, where you come to visit and return to live. She receives a prize of $500 worth of furniture from the Fifth Avenue Furniture Company. Hey folks, did you know that Seattle actually had 7 slogan names? It was the Pittsburgh of the East, then the Queen City, Jet City, the strange Lesser Seattle, my favorite, the Emerald City, the Next City, and the most progressive city in America. And in 2006, the Seattle Convention and Visitor Bureau did the slogan, ready for this? Metro National is the fusion of city and nature. It's what makes Seattle unique. I think I like Mrs. Pearson's better. As ice cream, it's real gold. The frosted cooling ice cream brick proved to be a glistening gold brick worth $1,000 for Miss Susie E. Judd, 1768 West 37th Drive, Los Angeles, California. Miss Judd was yesterday named winner by judges in the Western Dairy Products Contest for the best name of their new ice cream brick. The company mailed her a check for $1,000. The prize-winning title, as suggested by Miss Judd, was Sun Freeze. Short name contest brings many replies. When Clarence Malmo started his contest for a short name for his general duty garden fertilizer, he little realized the ability of Seattle folk to think up titles. One man alone has sent in more than 500 names, and the list of contestants is reaching into the thousands. Each contestant may submit as many names as he wishes. The only restriction is that the name be as short as possible. The new name of the fertilizer will be announced May 29th. This is Frank in Ernest, local householder who has hit upon a practical scheme to make home safe from relatives who tour west during the summer. After showing the relatives to their bedroom, Mr. Ernest will muster his family at 3 a.m. and sit outside the door cracking hickory nuts with a hammer. If the visitors don't leave after that, the family will wait until 4 o'clock and then start hanging pictures. Palace Hip, Slade Mike Taylor's big musical show in Three Merry Widows and a Sheik. A maelstrom of laughter, fun, and amusement. It commands attention. The Studebaker Commander Coupe for 4, powered by the famous Big 6 motor that recently established 5 world's records when it traveled 5,000 miles in 4,909 minutes. This car is on display at the Sands Motor Company. Rounding 'em up. This Chrysler Roadster was instrumental, considerably so, the picture would indicate, in rounding up the junior girls of the university.
Bye.